Okay, so we're going to be playing the Stanley Parable. We have no idea what this game's about. Have you played the Stanley Parable before? No. No, barely visible. Right. The current time. Wait, what the fuck? The current time. Written time to 59. Right, there we go. 59. So we're literally set to the complete real time.
No, you're a few seconds out.
It doesn't really matter. Never is the end, never is the end, never is the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Employee number 427.
Employee number 427's job was simple.
What was his job?
He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
Okay.
This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment as the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Stepped out of his office? Okay, I'm in control now, so I got up out of my... So I'm Stanley.
Well, you are standing, so... I'm sitting.
Right, so what do I do when I'm out here?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it
Where are my
mean?
co-workers?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Meeting room, okay.
Little did you know, I took all of your work as the tempters.
Right, so we're going this way.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm going to go on the right. I'm going on the right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Okay. I was like, this is not the great way. You are dead. Right, so, okay.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
I'm drinking this room all in. Just drinking it all in. Why is my FOV so high?
The Polynesians.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Yeah, but look what I've done because I haven't followed direction. I've got this incredible...
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Yeah, maybe we have.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Who's her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who? Who's been waiting? I don't know. Palpatine. Nothing out.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Well, what happens if I don't pick up the phone? Can I just unplug this? Is that a thing I can do? What's going on? How do I pick up the phone? Hello? Okay, well... Excuse me. Am I in a hotel?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right.
Okay, I'm having a flashback.
Okay, there we go.
This is probably
All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
They put some bullshit like this. I've seen this in TV shows.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
But my name's Stanley. Good morning, employee. Why would I want to press X on my controller? I don't want to press X on my controller. I'm doing everything the game is not telling me to do. Okay.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Oh, thank you. Please press circle. I'm going to press square. Triangle. X.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Please press up on the D-pad. Pull back up.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Please press right on the D-pad to watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Press X to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Press up on the D-pad to prepare dinner.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Press square to tell your kids a story.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please
and
die.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Excuse me.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, I went at that one this time, but I'm still going to ignore the second one. So we didn't go down this way at all last time. What is this?
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Everyone's unique, and you most of all. What is this slideshow supposed to tell me? Number of slides on this slide. Slides, charts, charts and slides. What's going on here? Why is it just an endless slideshow? Like, rate which charts on the same slide depict the same information. What the fuck is going on? Please, no more charts. Please, I'm begging. Stop, stop, stop. The boss appreciation minute. Right, so I'll shut that door now.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nope, he walked down.
Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon.
I have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
What is going
Stanley
on, mate? I just keep
is
seeing
as
the
awake
same
right
thing
now
every single...
as he's
Oh,
ever
what
been
for?
in
Look,
his
it's the
life.
vending machine again, ready?
Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
Ready?
After all,
Oh, the
he
vending
knew for
machine's back
certain,
again.
beyond a doubt, that this was in
As
fact
soon
a
as the
dream.
car will be
Did the
here.
voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin,
So was it a dream?
the press of the mattress on his
That was the
back,
most bullshit dream I've ever seen.
the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
What is going on, mate? Have I just woke up in the same bloody place? Oh my...
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
What? Mate, what is going on?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
A woman named Mariella?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
Marietta,
and then she turned and ran.
Staring at Stanley's body.
Yeah. So he thought he was in some delusional dream, but he was actually not.
Oh, never mind, he's still in the fucking delusional dream.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oh my
what could it mean?
Mate.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What the look outside the window, Sonny. There's so much going on out there. I think the guy I'm playing as is actually mentally ill. He must be. Right, this time we actually are going to go upstairs. Coming to a staircase,
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
What the hell is this boss's office? It's your whole mansion.
Yeah, the boss's kingdom.
What dark secret was being held from him?
Hang on.
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2845. 2845. So what do I do to get 2845?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Oh, here.
2845.
285. I bet it's wrong, isn't it?
28. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
What? Up or down? Okay, I'm going to get down. Yeah, I'm going to get down. Don't you dare.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered.
The mind control facility, Sonny. So, do I go to the mind control facility?
Go in the mind control facility.
Or do I go to escape?
Go to the mind control facility.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think you should go to escape.
Oh, well, I can't do that anymore.
Just turn around.
The lights rose on an enormous room
What the
packed
hell?
with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
What, they're all TVs? Oh, I can go this way. Is there not another way?
No. This is the Chinese guy. This is all his TVs that he uses to annoy people.
So hang on. So this is all...
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I feel like I'm in Squid Game, mate.
Multiverse.
I guess we go this way.
There's the timekeeper.
Yeah, TVA, mate.
What does that do?
Oh. What is stuff?
What does that button do?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Can't see nothing, mate. I can't lie. I cannot see anything. Oh, hello.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content.
5. Mind control, idle, awaiting input. System power.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
So do I press off or on?
Press on.
On.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off,
It was already on.
and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode,
What?
eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means, I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated?
Yeah, you gotta leave where you're
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
So this is clearly the correct way.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
This is where you're supposed
I
to
have
go.
to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
What was I supposed to do?
You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
What?
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Give me extra seconds.
Oh dear me, what's the
I feel
matter,
like I'm in an
Stanley?
escape room.
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from
Someone's
button to
capable of turning it off
button,
in this
screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red
Mate, how
button.
the fuck
Or
did you
this
turn it off?
door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death.
Yeah, no
You're only
shit.
still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
Goodbye, employee.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom
He's
and
telling me
then
to
nothing.
stop, so I'm just gonna say.
No ending here. Just you being blown.
He's
to
telling me,
pieces.
oh, struggle.
Will you
I'm just
cling
gonna say.
desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count.
No, I've
Or
got it.
don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn
Ow!
off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat
What?
this game.